Give somebody an inch, they're gonna take a mile, so you can't be giving out inches all the time, you know.
Thank you.
Pause.
Welcome to Social Experiments. The goal of Social Experiments is to educate and heighten the awareness when it comes to Black men's mental health and health when it comes to the Black community.
The guys will either be sitting on two lines, line A worth 25 points, line B worth 50 points. They will have the opportunity twice to throw their darts at the board and see how many balloons they can pop. Whoever gets the most balloons popped at the end of the game will get a grand cash prize.
And ladies, it is time to ask the questions to the lovely gentlemen that we have over here.
Yeah, we're going over here.
You know what? Go hard or go home. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm about to get it, too.
Nice.
All right.
I gotta go over here?
Nope, I got it. You can sit down. I got it.
I'm a gentleman, you feel me?
Brody, what's something you feel like that's overrated and underrated that you might catch slack for?
I guess one of those things would be constantly going out. I'm either in nature or I like to, be reserved. I don't like, too many crowds. So I do be catching a little heat for that.
For not going outside?
Yeah.
So how does that work in a relationship for you?
I gotta figure it out.
Gotta figure it out.
I mean, we have to find, common ground, you feel me? So I'm gonna put my, my wants or needs aside, just to compromise.
Okay. Brandon, you next?
Yep. Ooh. Oh. There's a lot of space in the middle. Nice.
I like that.
50 pieces.
What is the worst thing you have done as a man?
The worst thing I've done as a man,
That's intense.
that's crazy.
That's intense.
I guess just not be a man in situations where, you got to step up and really consider everybody's feelings. Not everybody's feelings, but just make the best decision as a man, considering everybody, not just be selfish.
I think that's big of you to say, and it shows a lot of emotional maturity.
I've came a long way. 50 points.
I'm proud of your growth.
Thank you, sis.
Great answer. Great answer. All right.
I'm gonna go for the 50. Gotta pay this parking ticket.
There you go. Nice.
What are some of the characteristics a woman must show in order for her to be brought home to the family?
The most important characteristic for me is just being able to communicate well. And that's on like multiple levels. Like, how you have communication with your partner as well as communication with your family. Because nobody likes somebody that, like, you bring somebody home and then you see it's a nice little function going on in your parents' crib or wherever you are, your aunt, your uncle, and they just in the corner by themselves on their phone. Like, that's a deal breaker for me. Because I'm somebody that if you bring me home, I'm going to be talking to everybody, and trying to get to know and like intentionally grow with your family as well. So I just expect the same on that communication level. And then also like, just being able to just express how you feel and have in-depth conversations. That's like my take on that one.
How do you respond when one of your family members start flirting with your girlfriend?
That has never happened, but my family is pretty respectful, in that regard, and they know not to play. If that was to happen, which I highly doubt it would, I would just kind of like pull them aside. I don't believe in embarrassing people like on a grand scale unless I told you once and now we have to embarrass you on a grand scale. I would say just pull them aside, like address the issue, and then if it continues, then just move accordingly moving forward.
Has that happened to you before?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
People change the way their posture, like, around like, smiling a lot of eye contact. And then it ended up being my fault somehow, but yeah.
I think often like women experience those things and they don't say anything to their partner to avoid what you're talking about for like making the situation uncomfortable for the person that they're with or the family. They try to like avoid bringing the conversation up. But it does happen a lot where a guy's friend, you may bump into him in the hallway heading back from a bathroom at a function and they may like try to throw a little shot or introduce themselves as another contender in a situation. And so it happens, but I think a lot of times women don't feel comfortable because they don't know how their man might react to being challenged in that way.
I got a follow-up question to that. Do you give flag to your girl about the situation? Or do you give flag to your boy or family member about the situation if they're coming and approaching her and trying to be with her?
It's obviously not her fault. Like, if she's an attractive woman and somebody finds her attractive, like, that's something you can't control. However, now if you entertaining it and flirting back, now I have to like address you too as well. So like if it's just one-sided, you obviously have to address your family member. But if it's like going both sides and like you giving the time of day and you just entertaining, and then when I catch you both entertaining each other, and now when I address you trying to make it seem like I'm crazy, like that's kind of an issue that needs to be talked about.
I thought you said that never happened before, DP.
No, it didn't. I'm just saying we speak in hypotheticals. So that was my hypothetical response. Based on that, hypothetically, if that situation did occur, right? How would you bring that up to your man?
I'm a real direct person. I would bring it up to my man on the side for sure. I wouldn't and just at the table be like, yo, daddy flirting with me. But if we had an opportunity to be in a corner or maybe after the event, it depends on first it depends on how uncomfortable I am. If it's very uncomfortable, then I'm gonna say something, pull him to the side in that moment.
50 piece. Oh.
Nice.
How do you believe Black men's representation in media has affected, how you're perceived in the world?
You know the stigma. The darker you are, the more pain you could tolerate, as well as the meaner you are, whatever that case may be in regards to, those stigmas. But then again, my face too. I'm extremely friendly. I'm extremely approachable. If anyone starts or strikes a conversation with me, obviously I'm one to reciprocate. But I have a feeling that when I'm out and about, people have a tendency of being a little bit more afraid of approaching me.
Based on your skin?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Obviously, social media. You rarely see a Black man in good positions, especially in movies. Most of the time, dark-skinned men are usually the villains or whatever the case may be. So
Black people, you're viewed as like ghetto, quote unquote, aggressive. So growing up, since I was kind of like, I'm always dark skinned, I naturally had muscles. My parents always told me to not cause any trouble, just to not look like a nigga, It kind of made me more bashful in some ways because I didn't want to cause too much trouble. So even if someone was kind of like being rude, because I was dealing with white people for the first time in high school, they would say some rude shit. But I didn't want to fight them since I wasn't in like a Black town anymore. I didn't want that kind of attention. So it definitely affected like how I thought people viewed me. So I would kind of go even more on the shy side, because you're taught that you're aggressive, loud, whatever. And to some extent, I am loud, but you don't want to be viewed as a troublemaker. So you're kind of going to the more submissive route, So as I got older, I was like, oh nah, I don't got to take this shit because I do my shit, I work hard, and I'm successful. So it's not ghetto or aggressive to stand my ground, but you can't tolerate disrespect,
yeah, people do want to try you too.
Yeah, and if you give somebody an inch, they're gonna take a mile. So you can't be giving out inches all the time,
Thank you.
Pause. Pause.
All right, Brandon, it's your turn.
All right, can't be missing again. I missed that whole first round.
You might as well try 25, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that again, bro. That shit was crazy.
It's just 25.
If a woman makes more than a man she is dating, why does it appear that the man cannot be happy for her success?
I think that's honestly because a lot of guys get really insecure about that. You know what I'm saying? Because the man is, quote unquote, always supposed to be the breadwinner. He's supposed to be the guy. But a lot of times nowadays, the woman makes more. And I know people personally who the girl makes more than them, and it kind of makes them a little self-conscious. It's not that it's a bad thing, and some guys handle it better than others. But to a lot of guys, it makes them feel like really insecure.
Is there a way that the woman can try to combat that?
I guess make him feel like he's still the man, though. Because like some girls might make them feel like lesser than because they make less. Some girls do that. But there's a lot of ways a guy can be, dope without making the most money. And I always tell guys it's not about the money because usually the dude that's fucking your girl is a broke dude. And I swear to you, it's a broke dude. It's a broke dude, but he has unstoppable confidence. It's always that type of guy. So I don't think money is everything. It matters, but you don't need money because if that guy could do it and he has $0, then you could do it with some dollars. You know what I'm saying? So you don't got to worry too much about the money. There's different ways to be a leader than just making more than somebody.
Damn, that shit hit hard. See, it was faulty.
Black men don't make shit.
The black women, they have the lesson.
That boy good.
I gotta pay that parking ticket off. Not playing.
What is one of the most valuable lessons you learned throughout your childhood that still keeps you motivated to this day?
Damn. So for me, like, it's gonna sound cliche, but you know, I'm not afraid to sound cliche, especially when I speak to my reality. You know, I grew up single parent household. My father was like incarcerated most of my life. I seen light at the end of the tunnel in that situation though, because we actually were able to mend a strong relationship, and we actually like tight as we grew up my whole life now. So you feel me? But I had to get through like certain aspects where I'm like getting to know him in jail, 15-minute phone calls, combo get good, shut it off. So like that's a cliche, unfortunate reality for black men in America, considering that 1 in 4 of us is gonna be incarcerated at some point in our life. So I feel that my toughest lesson, my biggest lesson and most appreciative lesson within that is just to give black men grace in general. Because like I could have easily just been like, I don't want to get to know you, I don't care, it's over with. But I figured like, what did he go through to get himself in that point? And we had certain combos, and I learned more in depth. And if I would have just been closed off and decided not to go into those conversations, I would have never even got my answers, and which now I can apply to, I'm a teacher, by the way, I can apply to my students, you know? So like a lot of them are experiencing the same thing. Ultimately, the theme of the lesson is just like being able to not only give black men grace, but also understand that like, you know, a person has the ability to change.
How do you balance the decision between giving grace and enabling other people's like decisions?
I guess it's just going with a gut feeling. That's like how I gauge it. Like I just feel like I have a good moral compass enough to know that like, all right, if I feel it, I go off it. Like I have logic based, and then I have like a logic based plan to apply to like a certain feeling I have, like, or instinct, you know? So that's how I balance that. Oof.
Why do men feel like it's better to hide their significant other from social media platforms?
No, cause like, so me, I'm a firm believer of, you know, moving in silence, because you don't know who's praying for your downfall. I'm Haitian, so in terms of spirituality, I know that your thinking process, as well as, you know, other people's thinking process, can actually affect your blessings.
I'm playing devil's advocate for the women. I'm sorry. I have to. I think it's only right. I see where y'all are coming from. But considering the fact that, like, when y'all do it, y'all have alternative motives, because y'all be sliding in another woman's DMs as if you not laying next to another woman. My lord.
Your woman right now.
So okay.
Wait, let me finish. Let me just
He didn't do that though.
No, but that's not even it. What is that going to change?
Nothing.
What is that going to change? Because no, dead ass. Because I know niggas who has the pictures of their girlfriend on their Instagram, and women still like, what the hell? This is what you guys don't understand. Social media is just it's not real. Even if you do post somebody on your Instagram, it's not gonna make a difference.
I got a question for y'all. If they're doing everything they need to do in real life, bring you around their family, bring you around their friends, you're not hidden from the world because people know who this person is and they know that y'all are together. Why is it such an issue?
So for me personally, I learned after dating one of my exes years ago, like, my social media is mainly, although it can be a form of self-expression, but it's really, I use it for business. If I were to be dating somebody in general, I don't think personally right now I see that as something feasible for my social media if it's not helping my brand, my business, and who I am is going. Now, granted, if I get engaged, married, that's a completely different story, because then that's a part of my story. But I'm not posting that significant person because, for one, there's no ring on this finger. At this point, like, you're not getting posted if there's no ring. If that person is doing everything that they need to do, then that's fine. Like, I don't think social media is really important to be posting your significant other, but also you need to be mindful and check individuals that come into your comment section or come into your DM saying that, like, hey, like, I'm in a relationship. It may not show that I might be on one on my social media, but, like, just be like, no, thank you, I'm not interested, or things like that. And don't even play into it in general. So at the end of the day, nobody wants to look stupid. Nobody wants to look dumb. It's all about communication, I think, in a relationship, and the level of understanding, like, what is your social media platform for?
I just also feel like I can't wait for this to be posted. But ladies, if you got to put a heart over his face, don't post that man.
Yeah, I don't get, like, that's what I don't get, though.
If you taking photos and you having like him photoshopped, his head photoshopped off his shoulders, like just let it go. Any real woman who's FBI agent like myself is gonna be able to figure out who that is. So you might as well just not even post him if you have to like hide him and put like emojis over his face. That's even crazier.
Yeah, I'm just going.
Let's go, B.
I'm just doing 25 now. I'm not doing that.
Brandon, have you completed your annual physical and important exams throughout 2023? If not, what might have been a stopping point for you?
Like physicals and like doctor?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very personal, but I did. You know, I like to pay attention to those things. Mostly because I'm a hypochondriac, so I get nervous about those things. So I do check my stuff and I pay attention to that, yeah.
Is it difficult for you guys to go to doctors that are not of the same color as you?
Nah, my doctor Asian.
Do you feel like you can have the same similar connection to him versus if you were having like a black doctor?
I'm not gonna lie, in all transparency, I would prefer a black doctor. My insurance at the place I was looking at, they didn't take it. You know what I mean? So like at that point, and then availability things, I have a busy schedule. So at that point I was just like, bro, if me not going to a black doctor or me going to a black doctor or me don't get my body checked. Yeah. Like, I mean, something gotta give. You feel me? My preference would be that to give the business there, but you know, if I have insurance that is to these places and there's no black doctor there, it's like, am I supposed to pay out of pocket? That's where I be like confused. Like it's like, damn.
Yeah. And like even if he's not black, like as long as he's a competent doctor, like and you understand, he's like listens to what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying, like trying to, you know what I'm saying? I think he can get the job done. Doesn't necessarily have to be black, but as long as he's competent, he's caring, or she's caring, you know, because I'm not sexist, you know, then there's nothing wrong with having a person that's not black.
I do get scared of malpractice though. Yeah. Like I go into that situation aware though, like damn, bro, like, you know, this might not, like, I'd be like, damn, me taking this risk is like, but it's like if you don't go, it's like taking a risk too. So it's like,
yeah, I have all black doctors. I have a black therapist, black dermatologist, a black dentist, black family physician, black OBGYN. I did, however, see a white doctor that, like, maybe last week. It shocked me because I booked with the black doctor, but she wasn't in the office that day. And I was like, my God, what is this?
That's that booty meat. Hold on, man.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
What are some of the reservations that black men might have when it comes to receiving help with their mental health?
Just to give you a disclaimer, I'm actually graduating in May with a degree in school counseling and licensed professional counseling. So this is my type of question. But the perception is that you have like two different stigmas. Like you have the general man hierarchy, the man hierarchy stigma, which is like men don't cry, men are this, men stand tall, men this, they don't express themselves, da da da. Then you have like on top of that, the double microaggression of like black man stigma, where it's like, black men, if we do express ourselves, it's like we angry or we don't know how to talk because we violent or something like that. So I feel like that's where bridging the gap between black men and black women is very essential, because it's like, we need y'all help in that regard, because it's like people gonna look at us crazy. We need somebody to defend us. Basically, that stigma is saying we're not allowed to get out of character, like or yell or you know, have a gripe with something. You know what I mean? Not everybody has the ability to express themselves a certain way. You feel me? So it's like we kind of need help from the community to be like, yo, like he just having a moment. Like, why you recording him? Why you antagonizing this person? Just let him get his moment. I want to speak on something that kind of like pissed me off as a kid a lot. Like my dad is black and my mom is black and white, right? So my reality was like, I was the darkest on one side and the lightest on the other. So it was a constant like, oh, you, like my black cousins would be cracking jokes on me, calling me sport and all types of like, you know, white entendres. Now it's funny though, looking back on it, as a kid, I'm like, yo, fuck out of here. So I felt the need to always like justify and defend myself. And then on the other side, it's like you dealing with microaggressions and like certain things like, why your hair look like that? Or like, why you keeping like, how you get those waves in your hair? Things like that. Or like, how you get this? Or why you wearing your clothes that way? You know? So like, seeing both sides of that shit, like it made it really hard for me to express myself. And I always like kind of resorted to like keeping it internalized. And then from there would eventually build up. And then till somebody had me fucked up. And then like it eventually like went out.
But they just looking at that moment of me being upset and judging me off that moment, as opposed to like seeing how I got to that moment. So I feel like that is another point and important factor to add. You know, like people are gonna have like a reaction from something, like whether it's past traumas, past triggers, and just identifying those things are gonna be like the catalyst in like making sure you really understand what environments you should be in, which ones you should not be in, and then knowing to exit and knowing to leave before it gets to a point where you can't come back from it. So I just wanted to add that too.
What are some of the ways in which you wish Black women showed up for you, or Black men in general, more often?
Just holding it down. Like we said earlier, like DP said earlier. Sometimes just saving, like just having face or saving face, takes a long way. Like, you know, that's important, and just being cognizant of the fact that, you know, everybody's against us would help the community better. Because let's honestly be honest, we've been demonized. Not only just Black men, but Black women also. We've been demonized by social media. So we have to just hold each other down.
Give me an example of that. Holding each other down, besides saving face.
The whole Tory Lanez thing. No, let's be honest though. Like, the evidence showed that he didn't do it, right? It did. Why are you making a face?
Wait, I don't know what the evidence showed. Actually, I don't know.
There was no gun residue on under his fingernails, so he couldn't have been the one who pulled the trigger.
Did he have a gun wound?
No, she stepped in shards of glass.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he didn't pull the trigger, and then they found the gun residue in the other lady's under the other lady's fingernails. So she's the one who pulled the trigger, but the man is still being he was still judged on the whole entire situation. I don't agree about the whole incident, but you know, if we're looking at the judiciary system, technically he's not supposed to be going to jail. But
This is what I think. I'm just going to say this. Because I like to take my mind goes somewhere else when you start talking about things like that, because I happen to just believe that the media sets up certain propaganda for us to pin each other against each other. Like the whole Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion, her best friend thing is, I feel like a whole psyop of something Tory Lanez got going on with the community. And it's just like, okay, cool, well, look at this violence between Black man and Black woman, and that's what everybody's focusing on, and they're not, shouldn't be focused on that. So that's what I think.
All right, round two. So far, Roldy, you're in the lead. Then we are DP, and then Brandon and Monica, you guys are tied for third. So points this time are doubled. We have 5 balloons. It's up to y'all to see who wins the cash prize.
I might.
Oh my God. All right. Looking at how Black women are portrayed in media, does it make it difficult in aspects such as dating?
Can I ask a question? Do you date Black women?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why? Because the way I talk is. Almost every girl I dated was Black. Except my girl now Spanish, but that's just a coincidence. But every girl I dated was Black. Other than that. That's just a coincidence. It wasn't like I wasn't like, oh, I ain't did it because she wasn't Black. She just happened to not.
You love who you love, bro.
No, I think social media definitely be portraying Black women a certain way, and it definitely puts Black men and women against each other. Especially now, like the women getting more ratchet on the scene. Like, who's the one that goes boop 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 boop, fuck my baby daddy? That shit is that's all types of ratchet.
It's bad.
That shit is crazy. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, it's just wild.
Look at the booty cheeks. That shit is ass though.
No, it don't even sound good. It's like only
If it sounded good, I could.
Look at that booty me.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not good. It don't portray anything good. And that's what like the younger generation sees. And it kind of adds to Black men and women being ratchet. You know, we were going forward before, but then now it's like we're trying to identify with damage. And even people who aren't necessarily damaged in that way are trying to identify with being damaged. So overall it affects the overall mentality of the community.
And so how does that affect you when dating?
I was okay with dating ratchet people. I used to like it. I used to find it fun. You know, I used to really like.
Honesty, I like it.
I used to really like wild girls, but then I learned that it was actually a bad thing because I'm not actually like that. I actually come from a good family, but they're they're not joking. Like they're actually always in turmoil. Like it was fun the first couple weeks, couple months, but then it's like, oh, you're not. It's not a prank. You just like that, you know. I was with the shits until I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that it's not a good thing to identify with that.
I think as a woman, I'm learning that too. Like, because it's so accepted in society, it's a huge part of the culture. It seems like it may be okay to be that way, but you're really getting judged. And those kind of women, at least like for me acting that way, I'm not getting wifed up acting like that.
Yeah.
So it's important for me to internalize that, understand that it's for some, for your eyes only situations, and behave a little differently in public.
And even with promiscuity and the provocativeness, I used to also find that fun. But then I thought about it on a psychological level. Most girls generally don't like acting like that. So usually when a girl is acting like that, it's an indication that something's wrong. So once I really accepted that those behaviors tend to come from a bad place, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be, attracted to that, But that's portrayed as okay now on social media, so everyone thinks it's okay to act like that, but it's coming from a bad place.
That's a good point.
I know you thought I was joking at first, but I was coming with something.
He's coming around.
Yeah.
All right, Monita Kai.
Do you believe in marriage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Explain your marriage to Teak, because we've had this conversation on the podcast, but I think maybe it's updated.
It might be updated. I appreciate marriage. Whether people should get married for financials or emotions, I can't really say right now. But it's like kind of what I was saying earlier about having that emotional stability and really like capturing the essence of somebody. As a promoter and a DJ and just an all-around sociable person, I might meet 100, 200 people a day. Rody, he don't go outside, so he might see like 2 women a day. You see what I'm saying? No offense, but I'm just saying like it's a meter to it.
Cool.
Because if I'm rocking with Shorty, she gotta know like I be outside, but not because I like, oh, I let you be outside. But it's just like I see so many people and like I got women throwing themselves at me like on a regular basis. And it's not that I catch it all the time, but it's like, yo, you kind of gotta keep up with it. Like you gotta keep up with it. Like and I got all this energy for you, you gotta match it, because the shit I deal with when I step outside is like, yo, and see, I might sound like a bad bitch, but like I'll be outside really like, yo, like they out here. So baby girl, like when I say I'm about you, I'm ready for you, let's do this shit, like let's do this shit.
What's your ideal timeline for marriages?
30, I'm trying to get, 30. It's like if you're 30, I'm like, damn. 31 is like, damn, I might settle for some shit, but like.
Settle at 31?
Yeah, I might like, cause like the progression, like.
That's crazy.
It's the progression.
You don't have to settle, but.
Hey, we'll see. Money.
That's that booty meat right there.
Do you think that the educational system has failed you? Why or why not?
It's failing black people as a whole, I believe, and not in the concept of like, so I went to high school in a failing school district, so it failed me in that regard, but at the same time, I was able to meet certain mentors and people who propelled me forward. So it was like a diamond in a rough situation. But then as I went to like teaching in Newark, like some of the systems that are in place are like designed to make our kids fail, but you kind of got to be that person that's like, I understand I navigated my way out of that shit, so like I need to help y'all figure out y'all own path too. It's a failure if you want it to be, especially if you are involved in it. Like I'm involved in the school system, like that's my job, that's my livelihood, that's something I do. So if I was to sit here and say like, this education system is a failure, that means I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So on a grand level, you feel me, I can't control some things, but in my space, in my classroom, like my students know, like, we're gonna get stuff done in here and we're gonna be able to have fun while doing it, and I'm gonna give you some real insightful gems.
Oh my God, I'm sorry, Rosie. Okay, Brandon. Why do black men have difficulty in expressing their emotions with their close friends or family?
Oh, well, I guess we did kind of touch on that. A lot of times we feel like, it's either we feel like no one's gonna listen, or we feel like we don't right to have emotions, you know what I'm saying? Because if we're too angry, we're tripping. If we're too sad, we're weak. So a lot of times you don't feel like you're supposed to have feelings or emotions. And if you do express it, you feel like no one will care or listen. Some of it is from just being an adult male too. You kind of don't really care about your problems. You just got to deal with it. Unless they're like your close friends or family, they might care. But other than that, you kind of do have to just figure out a way to get to your problems one way or another. But specifically being black, you feel even less heard.
Can I be controversial for a second?
Yeah.
So like, as a mental health professional, I understand the importance of like making somebody feel heard. But in a realistic example, it's like what he just said, it's like, you're gonna have to figure shit out anyway. So it's like, you gotta give yourself like a rule. Like, you know, you're gonna feel your way, you can complain, you can bitch about it, all that. But you gotta give yourself a time frame of when you can do that. Because if you sit there and do that every day, it becomes soaking and you ain't gonna have no motion if you are gonna just be soaking. As a black man, you have a responsibility. And as a man in general, I understand gender roles may vary. But in my opinion, like, you are the leader of your family, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, like, there's times where women also can be the leader of the family, but I feel like for like the burden, like, you're supposed to be that person that is kind of like uplifting everybody and holding it together. So yes, feel a way and explain yourself and express yourself, but you also gotta just be like, yo, it gotta get done because you have that responsibility, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel on that, like, because I don't wanna get too big into like because you kind of triggered my thought when you said, like, you know, you got to get it done anyway. Because I feel like sometimes, like, when you live in a day now and age, bro, and it's coming from a therapist, like, some people be soft as shit. Like, you just got to, like, really, like, part of going to therapy is understanding, like, yo, you can't just be so sentimental all the time. You got to figure something out, like, you know. And now it's delivery and how you convey that message, but you can't just enable somebody bullshit all the time. If they just sitting there soaking like, whoa, it's me, you're not going to get done.
The worst thing to do is nothing to me. You always have to have action. I like to put your words into motion, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you're just talking. So if you're complaining and not doing nothing, I'm not going to take you seriously either way. So even if I'm talking to other men, like, I'm a nice friend, I'll listen, but I was like, hey, at the same time, I noticed you're not doing shit. So you got to change that.
I don't think all men have hard time expressing themselves. It's just how much you can express yourself. Because as an ego thing, you know, you don't really want nobody to pity you, but like, my mother's my best friend, so I'll tell her if I'm feeling some type of way, I'm gonna tell her, like, what you think about this, ma, da-da-da, and she'll let me know. 5 minutes, wrap it up, but not maybe like 30, but like, it's not gonna be a whole sit in it and wallow and all that bullshit, but I definitely don't have any problem expressing myself with my family, but it's more so like, I got a weight on my shoulders and I gotta carry it, you know, and I don't wanna give none of that to you.
Monica, last one. Let's see, can you get it?
Come on, bro.
Number 2.
Onita Kai, who is someone that you look up to for motivation?
My homie, man, Ab. It's my brother right there. Like, we recently just got close in the past 2-3 years, but it's like, we're in the same boat. He's the youngest in his family. I'm the youngest in my family, and we both the major breadwinners. We the golden child. So we gotta either get it or nobody's gonna get it. So it's like, if he grinding, I'm grinding. If I see him start creating, I'm gonna start creating. So like, if I'm feeling down or low or just lacking any drive, I'm calling him like, yo, what's up? What we gotta do today? Da-da-da. We'll chop it up for 2 hours, 3 hours. All right, bet, let's get to work. And we motivate each other right there.
I love that. I don't often find people that use their friends as motivation. I usually like father figures or celebrities or mentors, but that's dope.
In time for third place, we have Monita, Kai, and Brandon.
Wow. Hey.
In second place, we have Rolly at 200. And for first place, we're probably gonna pay this parking ticket. It's DP.
I might still not pay it.
So thank you guys for tuning in to Social Experiments. Thank you for the amazing guests that are here today. Be tuned in, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what's your favorite question in the comment section below. And until then, we out. It's a wrap. Fade to black.